Hey guys, it's Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds, and we're going to be discussing some Sixers tonight and whether or not Nerlens Noel is going to get a contract extension. Now, neither Brian Colangelo or the representatives of Nerlens have met to discuss an extension. So, and if you remember, this might have to do with the little bit of chirping that Nerlens had done before training camp. And he had said, quote unquote, he dubs the situation very silly and that he's very surprised that Philadelphia has not sought out a trade yet with the loaded front court that we have. Now we've got Joel Embiid back healthy, we've got Nerlens, and then we also have Rashawn Holmes, and then we've got Jahlil Okafor as well. So they all kind of play the number 5 spot. I think Joel can play 5 or 4, but Nerlens is a little bit different. He's a good rebounder. He's an elite defender. I think he could be a defensive player of the year at some point, maybe a couple times in his career. His offensive game is kind of weak at this point. He's tried to work on a jump shot. It really hasn't really taken form as we've seen. He's got no post moves. He's very good in transition. He can do some electrifying dunks. But other than that, I think he's an underrated passer. He's okay with that, so he can kind of take it up. But he's very, very limited. So that kind of hurts his potential, I think. You would think by this point, since he's been in the league, he would have developed a little bit more of an offensive game, but he hasn't. We tried playing him with Okafor last year, didn't really pan out. He has to play the 5 spot. He can't play 4. He's very good at defending though. He gets banged around a little bit down low because of how slim he is, but I think he makes up for it with his speed. He's a very good rim protector, as we've seen and sought out. That's why I'd really like to keep him here because he's very good with help defense. He can defend. He can even go out and defend your 2s and 3s even because of how quick he is. Now, for the talks of this, if you're talking trades, we've heard it through the rumor mill for how long now? A year and a half, because we didn't know what Joel Embiid's foot was going to be like. Now that we've seen it a little bit, I don't want to be too premature with this, but the kid looks very, very good out there. I'm excited for it. We drafted Ben Simmons. So it's like, where is Nerlens going to fit in here? Is he going to come off the bench? I think that would be a best fit for him, but it doesn't look like he wants to even do that. He doesn't seem like he wants to be a team player and come off the bench. He wants to start. Be that as it may, I could completely understand Nerlens, but you got to be a team player. If you need to come off the bench for your team, then you do it. You'd be a really good unit with Sarge out there, so you just do that. Now it kind of worries me what Brian Colangelo is going to do, because through the rumor mills that we've heard throughout this time, we weren't really going to get much for them. I feel like he was being very undervalued. There was one trade talk out there that we were going to get him for Jeff Teague. I think that was complete garbage on their point, Atlanta. Like, I would have done it for Dennis Schroeder, but not him. Or even if we traded him to Boston for an Avery Bradley, a Terry Rozier, that would be a nice fit because we want to get a guy that can shoot and a guy that can defend. If you're going to give an elite defender like Nerlens up, then you want to get something substantial back in the trade. And I feel like teams are trying to quote-unquote trade rape us out there, which I don't want to happen. I don't want Brian Colangelo to get nervous and just feel like he has to do a trade just because we have a loaded front court. That's a good situation to be in. So I wouldn't rush things. If I was in BC's shoes, I would try to look for trade options for Jahlil Okafor. I think he's better suited. We get a better return for him anyway. With his offensive game, he's got great post moves. He's not that good of a rebounder. He's not very good in transition, and his defense needs a lot of work. So we'll see how he turns out this year. But if something doesn't tickle your fancy, you just don't pull the trigger. Just hold back and let teams come to you. Now, we can trade Nerlens up to October 31st. And until that point, then we don't. So we have the opportunity to do that. If not, if a trade extension doesn't happen, then it just doesn't happen. He becomes a restricted free agent in 2017. So it's not bad. He could leave after that point and get a payday. It depends what he wants to do. I think Nerlens and his representatives have to get on the same page as the Sixers and Brian Colangelo. And then you think about it, though, if we do end up trading Noel, not all is lost because we have a very good young player in Rashawn Holmes, who is a very good defender. He's not elite like Noel, I don't think, but he can rebound, and what he has over Noel is an offensive game, so he's not very limited. You can't just pass him the ball and then kind of restrict him off to the the side of the paint or whatever, like Nerlens can. When he gets him, you can just put a defender on him. Whereas if you have Rashawn out there, he can hit the three, he can hit a little jumper, he's got a little bit of post move, so that is quite beneficial for him too. So it kind of makes Nerlens Noel a little bit expendable out there. But we'll have to see what happens. So at that point, if we do get a trade with Nerlens before the October 31st, he can do what James Harden did back in 2012 and ink a new deal and get his payday that way. So we're going to have to see what the Sixers do. I hope they just don't rush the fact. I'm a huge fan of Nerlens Noel. I would hold on to him just for the key fact that he could become a multiple defensive player of the year. You just don't find guys like this hanging on the tree. But if we do end up pulling the trigger and trading him, I wouldn't be too upset just because we do have Joel, who's a very good defender. He's one of the building blocks along with Ben Simmons. But you need that energy off the bench, which I think Nerlens can play, and he's a great rim protector. So it would be kind of sad, but we do have Rashawn Holmes in the wing, but I really, really like to hold on to Nerlens Noel. So if you guys have any questions, comments, you agree with me, just please leave it below. And check out our website, thebitterbirds.com. It's a really awesome site. We've got all the sports on there. We talk football, Eagles, Sixers, the Union, Flyers, anything, any sport you can think of, we talk about it. And it's a really awesome site. You guys go check it out. So let me know, leave your comments, and let me know what you think. All right, see you guys.